All right, we got Myrina and we have Tristan in today from Accidental Swingers, which is very interesting. Thank you for coming in. And you guys have been married 30 years.
Yes, we've been together 30 years.
Together,
Yes.
married, whatever.
Well,
same thing.
Yeah,
right.
married
Exactly.
27 years, but together 30 years.
Wow, congratulations. That's
Thank
a
you.
long time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now. The divorce rate's like fucking through the roof, right? So we'll start with ladies first.
Absolutely.
So where did you grow up?
I'm actually from Virginia.
Virginia.
Yes. And I came down to Florida to go to college, and I never left, basically.
So when you came to Florida to go to college, what was your aspirations? Like, what did you want to do? What was your goals leading out of high school?
It was definitely not doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
actually,
would have won that bet.
right? You would, yes, I would not have placed the bet. So,
Right.
but yeah, no, just normal kid, teenage dreams. I think I thought I was going to be a veterinarian at one point until I'm like, well, that's way too much school, and you have to be really smart. So, actually, I was going to be a speech pathologist and audiologist for a while.
What is that? What's the
That is where you work with people with their speech habits and things after maybe they've had a stroke, or kids that don't have some language impairments or things like that. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, I think I was going to do that for a while, but then that also required grad school, which after about 5 years of college, I was like, I'm going to take a break from grad school. So I feel like I'll go back any day now. Any day, I'm sure I'll just decide to go pick back up, and it'll be great.
How much schooling is it to be a vet? Because my vet bill is through the roof. So I
right?
want to know how long this guy went to school for to charge
probably-
me this much.
I would say like 8 years.
To be a
probably.
vet?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
you do 4 undergrad and
Wow,
then 4.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
That's
then-
why I was like, I was done.
Where did you grow up, Tristan?
I grew up in Florida.
You were always here?
Yeah, born and raised in Florida.
And when you were coming up in high school, were you in sports, band? Like, what was your thing?
I was kind of nerdy. Still am pretty nerdy.
Like
But I was-
aliens, we just talked about that.
Right, exactly.
Well, I like fucking aliens.
I know.
I'm a
well,
big alien guy.
maybe you're a nerd too. I don't know.
I
yet.
am nerd. I watch McCool, Kaku, I can't say his name right, Brian Cox, all those guys.
Mhm.
Neil deGrasse, I know you've seen
Mhm.
him.
Yep.
So you grew up in Florida, you went to high school in Florida.
Yeah.
Now, when you got out of high school, where are you headed?
I worked in our family company for 10 years before I decided to then go to college late. And then after undergrad, I have 3 degrees. And so my profession, which I prefer not to talk about,
Sure.
but is very high profile. And so that was the course that I took.
Good for you, 3 degrees. That's tough. How many years total?
8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got a smart guy.
Although I was on the probably 15-year plans.
Oh, you were in the extended
Right,
plan, right?
exactly.
Well, I'm on the 30-year plan, babe.
Well,
so
there
you
you
still have
go.
me beat. So yay.
So you're done with college,
Mhm.
and then what's the first job you go to?
Let's see. We were married then, weren't we?
Okay, well then let me go back.
Yeah.
Okay, so when do you guys meet? When is the first time you see each other? Not date, where you see her, you see him.
She came to work for my parents. And so we met.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And so the first time that I saw her was when she was getting a tour.
And now, when you first saw her, were you like, "That's the one," or were you like, "Oh, she's pretty"?
Pretty much.
Like you just had that feeling, like you knew.
Pretty much, yeah. And then I started courting her in a very subtle way, apparently, because when we actually had our first date, she didn't realize that she was on a date.
Good move, buddy.
That's how slick I was.
Ah, man.
Seriously, 100% serious.
Now, when you're taking that tour, do you notice Tristan?
I did notice him, but I didn't pay much attention to him.
And what move did Tristan make to get you to go out on a date with him that you
Well,
didn't know was a date?
I know. I did not
'Cause
know. it was
my
a
man's
date.
a slick fucking dude.
I know,
over there.
right? Yeah, I know.
love it, dude. Courser in, throw the line, it's a hook. Well, man.
Here's what he did. This is a genius plan. So where we were working, one of the cats had a bunch of kittens. So he decided he would come up and show his softer side to me and how sensitive and caring he was by bringing all these kittens up to.
What a fucking bullshit move that that's a win. What a move, Scott, huh? I gotta give you credit on that one.
Hey, it was a slam dunk. Yeah.
Slam dunk.
Right.
If 10 years ago, I would have been writing that down and put it in my pocket.
Puppies work just as well. I'll tell everybody out there just in case you don't know. But
Yeah, but he's smart. Cats are easier.
It was
Puppies
easy.
would be a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
it was easy. So he brought kittens up for me to show his sensitive side and to pet and see all the cute kittens and then also I thought he had a girlfriend, and so when he asked me to dinner, this is the date part. I thought the girlfriend was going to be there. So we're about maybe an hour or so into just sitting around and chatting, and I said, "Well, where is what's her name?" And he said, "I don't know." I was like, "Oh shit, I'm on a date." Like I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we were together 2 years. We moved in together pretty much immediately. I had my apartment. She had an apartment with a roommate, or a house with a roommate. And I think it was maybe 2 weeks. And all my stuff was at your house.
Yeah.
Because you came to my apartment once, and once was all it took.
He had a bachelor pad.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and a water bed that wasn't consistently full of water, and it was a mess. I mean, the whole apartment was awful. And so she's like, "Why don't you come over to my house?"
But it kind of fit because it became even more organic then, right? Because your waterbed's messed up, the date wasn't the way it was supposed to be. You just came out of a relationship. I'm sure you're not really looking at the time to dive into that whole thing again. And then you go over to his house, which is a bachelor pad, other than the bed, the most important possible part. You know what I mean? And then it's almost like just even in the first 15 minutes, you go to dinner, you meet each other, you don't know it, it clicks. Tristan's got a destroyed waterbed. You're like, "Hey, buddy, like you saw me at dinner. I wasn't put together. I thought somebody was going to be there. So it's okay that your bed sucks. Let's go to my house." So it's like everything happened with you guys were like the real you, like not like a fake thing, and the real you. So I think that's really cool and genuine. The podcast is brought to you by Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. It's the ideal combo of the right ingredients in the right proportion to deliver a big bad buzz that only Monster can. Monster packs a powerful punch, has a smooth, easy drinking flavor. Athletes, musicians, co-eds, road warriors, metalheads, geeks, hipsters, and bikers dig it. You will too. Monster Energy is more than just the green OG. Monster has Monster Ultra, Juice Monster, Monster Hydro, Rehab Monster, Dragon Tea, Monster Max, Muscle Monster, and many more. Buy on Amazon, buy on Walmart, or go to monsterenergy.com and believe me, you'll find a place. Unleash the beast. Monster Energy.
But we knew, can I tell the story of?
Yes, you may.
See, he's smart enough to ask and not do it. Guys, listen.
That's right. Pointer number 2. Don't let them know they're on their date first.
That's right. So 2 weeks after we met, I was cleaning out my car, which rarely got cleaned out. And maybe I was trying to be a little pretension, put on some pretense to clean my car for you. So I was cleaning out my car, and I found a letter that was addressed to me, just my name. And I opened it up, and I forget how many pages, but probably, half a dozen, 6-10 handwritten pages. And the very first line was, "If everything goes the way that I hope it does, you'll be reading this on our wedding day."
Oh.
And I stopped, and I put it back in the envelope, and I put it back where I found it, and I never told her about it, that I saw that. I'm starting to get a little emotional. I never told her that I found it until I think maybe when we got engaged. It was a long time later that I confessed that I had read that letter 2 weeks into our relationship.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Now, were you wondering did you think he may have found it, or did you think it got lost?
No.
Did it run through your head?
No, it was what had happened was I think I had thrown a bag or something in the back of the car, and so it had fallen out. And it wasn't, I had written it from the heart. It was just because that's who I felt that. Was it really only 2 weeks after? I felt like it was a little bit longer, but that's okay.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks.
Oh,
that I wrote that? Oh,
our podcast listeners know that I'm the historian
You
of
are.
the two.
You're the elephant, right?
Yeah. I just go, yeah, whatever. So yes, I had written that, and but I shoved it back in my bag, and I did in fact have that delivered to him on our wedding day, so that he could actually read the entire letter.
So now you're married 26 years straight. And what is this thing? What's the word? Monotonous? What the fuck is it that I'm trying to say?
Monogamous.
Monogamous. Which one does that mean? That means you're.
Well, it can also be a synonym for monotonous.
Right.
That is the one where you're staying together forever.
Yes.
Like you're your only partner. So
Yeah.
we were in a monogamous relationship from the first time we started dating. In other words, I wasn't dating anybody else. He didn't date anybody else. And then we never ever dated anybody else. We just stayed together.
You've done 8 years of school. You ever wonder where these people come up with these words? Like, why can't they just say they're together, like just together, and then they have partners?
Right. There are words for that.
I guess to make the textbooks more expensive, right?
Yes.
To pay back on that student loan.
Right.
So now 26 years happen, and you guys you think you're going to dinner, right?
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more than dinner. The other couple that you go to dinner with, they're thinking different than just dinner.
Right.
So whichever one of you wants to take me through that, I want to hear both sides. Because it's all, you'll see it one way, and Tristan you'll see it one way.
Right.
So whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Would you like me to
Because
start?
I'd like to know how this shit started.
Okay. So we have neighbors that live in our neighborhood down the street. And in case I'm outgoing. I'm a very extroverted person. I'll talk to anybody about anything, just about anything. And so Tristan is not quite as extroverted as I am.
Not even a little bit.
Me neither.
So
I am on here, but like when I don't say anything. I just want to go eat, sit down. Thank you, Bill. Talk to whoever I'm with. That's it.
I just love meeting people.
Yeah.
So we had,
Which, by the way, is one of the things that really attracted me to her. From the beginning. I love confident women, and she is incredibly confident. She has incredible poise, and I loved her, just her outgoing nature, and she's just so open and authentic, and I loved all of those things.
I'm like that too,
Yeah,
because I'm not like that.
Right, exactly, precisely. And so I saw qualities in her that I wish that I had myself. And so that's one of the many reasons I was so drawn to her. And so in so many ways, we used to always talk about how we're yin and yang, and we complete one another. And so that was one of the big things for me is she's outgoing and flirty and just fun.
But anyway, so we had met this couple in the neighborhood, and she and I had become friends and friendly, and for almost 2 years, I think. And
just like hanging out, doing stuff like girl time.
stuff. Yeah, we would go and do walk or something in the morning, and just it was nothing crazy, but just had known them. And we had done a couple evening things in the neighborhood, when the neighborhood folks all get together and everybody's going to have, a barbecue. And so we had seen them a couple times of that. And the husband and I were always very flirty, not out of the realm of possibility for me. So I didn't think anything much of it. And then we all spoke about going out to dinner because we enjoyed each other's company very much. So we went out to dinner, and the first dinner that we went to, very relaxed, not much really happened, although in part of the conversation of the evening, like a song or something came on, and the wife said, "Oh, that's my husband's hall pass." I think it was Taylor Swift or somebody. Mm-hmm. And I said, "What?" And she said, "Oh yeah, like if he ever meets Taylor Swift, that's his hall pass. Like he gets to go and have sex with her, because what are the odds?" And so we went around the table kind of talking about who was whose hall pass. And so when they got to me, I was the last person to go, and I said, "Well, Tristan, I have a hall pass for anybody." And they were like, "What?" I said, "Well, Tristan gave me a hall pass when we first met." And he said, "I don't care. You go do whatever you want to do. Just tell me about it." And I said, "Okay." But I never needed to do anything. Never even dreamed of it. But that point with them was kind of the piece that apparently may have turned something on for them. And we didn't know it at the time. And but we had a great dinner and a great time. So we all decided to go out like a month later. It took about a month every time we tried to do anything to get on each other's schedules. So we went out a month later, and that was when there may have been some drinks at dinner and things like that. But the dynamic had already shifted a little bit. They were much more flirty. He was more with me. She was much more flirty with Tristan. And so it had changed a little bit, but we didn't understand until about the end of the evening. Right.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, clearly it was orchestrated on their side, even to the point of, like I went to the restroom and I came back in and everybody was already seated, and the husband was sitting next to Myrina, and there was an empty seat for me next to the wife. So they had arranged it so that, we would be able to talk this direction as well as this
Now, when you
direction.
come out and you see that, what are you thinking? Because you're not thinking swinger shit
No,
or
we
anything.
No,
didn't
not
know
at all.
anything.
No,
Yeah.
not
You're
at
like,
all.
you had to been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, because that's unusual. I always sit next to her because I always have my hand on her knee,
Yeah.
or I'm always holding her hand. I'm always touching her in some way when we're together. And so I was like, okay, well, that's unusual, but all right.
Okay, we'll play along.
Yeah.
Neighborhood friends,
Right.
whatever,
Yeah,
right?
just chit chatting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was always a key that I never picked up on. I just sit down wherever. And so we went to another bar.
Can I
after that.
interject one more thing?
Of course, my love. Go right ahead.
So clearly, this was orchestrated, but clearly some chemistry had begun, because by the time that the server brought our bills, she's like, well, wait a minute, who?
That's true.
Because the cards came from different sides of the, and so, or actually both from one side of the table, and that's when she realized, oh, okay, you guys aren't together. You guys aren't together, and you guys aren't together, and
they
you're
messed
together.
up the bill.
Yeah,
they messed up.
Yeah,
the
they had to
bill
go
and
redo it.
Had to go redo it
shit.
because which was like no big deal. But
So there was some chemistry going on that even the server picked up on.
Right. I forgot about that
Yeah.
too. See, it's so good. I'm
Good
so
point.
glad you're here, babe.
That's a good.
I know.
You missed that.
I
I'm the
know.
historian.
I missed it.
Let the elephant jump in. He
I
knows.
know. Go right ahead.
I mean,
So-
can I ask you something?
Of course.
Now, when you said to your wife, you can do whatever you want, just let me know.
Mhm.
How would you emotionally like swallow that? Like if you knew she was with another man and she comes home and she says, "Hey, look, Tristan, let's say you're 19.
Mhm.
I got drunk and slept with another man." How do you swallow that?
There's no way that I can know, because it didn't happen. It didn't happen until 26 years in.
Oh,
But
You
no,
can explain it from that point when we get to that part of the
Right,
story.
well, I guess the statement.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
No, so for me, first of all, it's kind of a kink and a fetish of mine. I'm totally into the hot wife thing, and so it's always something that I've fantasized about, her going off, and I think it wasn't from the beginning. I don't think that I told you that, but at some point in our marriage, I realized, wow, that would be really fucking hot if my wife were to go fuck another man and tell me about it. I would prefer to watch or be involved in some way, but I forget exactly when I told you that, but basically it's always just been a kind of a kink of mine.
So it's kind of like a two-sided thing, right? So if she does something, just tell me, and I'd rather you tell me than find out some other way.
Well,
But
it's the telling me that would have been the turn on.
would have been the
Right.
turn on, right?
Right.
And then you know that, oh, okay, well, I can live out my freaky shit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Kinky shit.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Now,
Nice.
had
He's
it
very
happened,
smart.
had it
Mhm.
happened that way, I have no idea how I would have felt, because I
Yeah.
probably would not have been prepared for that. And in the way that our story progresses, by the time those sorts of things did start happening in real life, I was completely prepared for it and totally on board.
Okay, all right, I understand.
But if we were to go back retroactively to year 15 or 12 or whenever it was, I have no idea how I would have actually felt.
right. Okay, just want to ask.
Yeah. And people, you can't know until you actually experience something.
And then, yeah, right.
I can project as much as I want, but until
You don't know until you're in the
Right,
situation.
exactly.
But everybody thinks they know everything.
Right.
Right.
So I'm not sure if it was wishful thinking or just.
I think-
whatever.
I think maybe a little bit.
I think it was fueling the universe to manifest.
Oh.
I don't know. He's living out.
I
in-
know.
Right?
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Somebody's winning.
The story gets better.
We're all winning.
yeah.
We're both winning.
Both of you are winning. So
That's right. And maybe some others too.
And Tristan threw that out a long time
Long
ago.
time ago.
And he was that China guy that he was just like China, very patient for 26 fucking years, and then he comes.
Yeah.
China just waits 200
Pretty much.
or
Pretty much.
1,000.
Actually, yeah, pretty much. That's actually very close to how
I
it
do have
works, yeah.
I do have multiple 5-year plans, so
I bet you do.
pick up on that
And I
analogy
bet you get all of them done too.
subtly.
So now, what's your take on that night?
Well,
Oh, yeah, I haven't finished the other part.
yeah, we haven't
Yeah.
finished. So after All right, so we left that restaurant, which is a very nice restaurant, and we had a great dinner. Had a lovely time with them. I'm still not. I don't think we're. I mean,
Mm-mm.
we're not thinking, oh, this might turn into a four-way. We just thought it was interesting and fun that that the snafu happened with the check, and so we went on to the next place, which was a bar, and we had a couple of, well, I don't know how many smoked old fashions, and then we went from there to a Latin dance club in like a kind of a basementy type area, and there aren't many basements in St. Pete, but it was, we're tall, and so the ceiling's like right here.
Basement enough, right?
It's basement enough. Yeah, it's a lower mezzanine, maybe. I have no idea what you would call it, but in any case, I do not dance well, and I Latin dance even less well, and so, and notwithstanding being pretty drunk, I I was comfortable enough that I did an okay job dancing with her, the other woman. So the talking and we'd started flirting then at the second bar, and even I could pick up on that. And way back from the bathroom, I kissed her on the cheek, and so which is for me is unusual, well, it's not now.
At the time,
right at the time, it's not something that I would have ever done, but I was feeling it too, and it was a great compliment, and so that was very exciting. So it was all very exciting, but still, my brain was not making the next step, taking the next leap.
And in the meantime, the husband and I were dancing, and on the dance floor, he leaned over and kissed me. And I said, whoa, I hadn't kissed another man other than just whatever flirty kissing, but he kissed me. And I said, I don't know. Like, my husband's just over there. And so he said, oh, okay, that's fine. He said, well, let's go back and join them. And I said, okay. So we get back to the table, and Tristan and his wife are there. And he said to his wife, you need to take her to the bathroom, meaning me. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of odd. So we go to the bathroom, and the wife, we get in the door, and she turns around, she looks at me, and she says, it's okay with me if it's okay with you. And I said, it's okay with me if it's okay with you. I had no idea what she was talking about still.
You had no idea?
No idea.
Oh.
No idea. And
where are you at this time?
She's out. We were in the ladies' room.
Yeah, I was out talking. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but, rum and cokes. I think we were, because he was talking about how, he loved rum and coke. And yeah, so
I don't know. For some reason, I just decided that was the way I was going to go with this.
It was not the in-depth conversation that they had.
Right. You're talking about what kind of rum you want with the coke, and they're about to go to the bathroom.
Right, exactly.
So, I still didn't quite exactly know what she meant, what that meant. And that was as far as that got, because then she turned around and left the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's okay with me because it's okay with her, but I still don't know what that means. So, but it was very, very late, and we had to get back home because they had to get up very early in the morning. So we decided to Uber back, and the Uber ride's a long ride for us, about 30 minutes. And so we get in the Uber, and Tristan and the wife sit in the back of the Uber, and he and I sit in the middle where the van and the driver's driving. And we got in the car, and then all of a sudden it was just like Makeout City. So like the husband leans over and starts kissing me, and it was so hot and so awesome and so bizarre that we just let it happen. Tristan's in the back. We have not talked at all. Mm-hmm. So none of this has been like, hey, by the way, I think something's going down. Nothing. It's like, hey, babe, you get in the back with her. And so he's in the back watching all of this go down and thinking, well, if she can do it, I can do it.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, if I don't do anything, if I do whatever she does, I can't get in trouble for it. So I'll just follow along whatever Myrina's doing. I can get as far as she gets. You
gave him the okay.
I was basically
Good move.
Yes, luckily I was in front so he could watch. But it was just kissing and a lot of hands and things like that. But it was really funny because the Uber driver did look back at about 10 minutes into the ride, and we were all making out. And he said, is everything okay back there?
I say, fuck you, I'm paying you to drive. Don't worry about what we're doing back here.
It felt like high school.
Just look straight, pal.
That's right. We were like, it's all great.
Drive.
Yeah.
And maybe make a turn if I need you to.
Right. So we got home, and they had we got home, and it was like Cinderella and the carriage ride. It turned into a pumpkin and everything. Like it, and the instant the chemistry ended, it was like, we're home. It's 3:00 in the morning. They had to get up at 6. I mean, it was something crazy stupid. And so the magic was gone. And they said, okay, bye. And we said, okay, bye. And never really talked about anything. And we had walked up to their house because it's just in the front of the neighborhood. So we walked home and it's like 3:00 in the morning. And we're walking home and we're like, okay, what the fuck just happened?
And I noticed is the four of us making out. me making out with his,
I guess so.
with the wife, and my wife making out with him. And I thought, all right, well, that should have been my first clue. But I think even still, we were like, I think looking back on it, we just thought that was an aberrant. In fact, as the story picks up, we talked about it. And we're like, nah, that just, it was just a one night. We were drunk. This can't be what they do. This can't be who they are.
Right.
That's what I would have thought too. I would have thought too many drinks tonight. It's just a fluky
just
situation.
shit happens.
Right.
No,
it'll be done tomorrow.
Right. And it happened. Well, we've been plenty drunk with plenty of other couples in the preceding 26 years, and that never happened before.
You're trying to justify
Right.
what you're trying to do.
Right.
So nothing happened in that bathroom. Nothing.
No, I'm telling you, it was just that was the message she gave me, and that was it. And so I went out there almost as uninformed as I did going in. All I knew was I could get away with whatever it was that she was going to do, or that I had given permission to do whatever she was going to do. So I was just going to roll with it and see what happened.
That's
How
so
bad could
cool.
it be? I mean, really. So
Can it be that bad?
apparently it wasn't bad at all. Well, what it led to wasn't bad at all. So this dynamic.
So now you guys get home that night. You're inching close, Tristan. We're getting there, buddy. We're getting there. We're seeing the signs after the 26, So now what happens after that? So, you're trying to justify it or think of anything you can to justify it being just a drunk, irrational evening, right?
Right. Well, first of all, so we got back at 3:10 in the morning. And I think we fucked for an hour or more, and we were just incredibly hot for each other.
Well,
and
I'm sure after
yeah.
that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were turned on.
Yeah.
Yeah, say the least.
Look, he's thinking that in the 30 years, that was probably number 2.
Yeah,
Right.
after actually probably not after wedding night. We were drunk then too.
Well, yeah. No, after wedding.
So fucking interesting. So now,
Yeah.
so now, take me on. What happens after that? This is interesting shit.
It's really
And they're your fucking neighbors too.
yeah.
So over that weekend,
Hope you guys don't get in a fight.
They're down the road. Just in the same
I just
neighborhood.
get a roadblock or something if
Right.
you have to.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So over that weekend, we just, we just kept saying, yeah, what really was that, and what's going on, and finally by Sunday, Myrina said to me, "Well, what do we do now?" And are we supposed to call them, or do they call us, or
Yeah, 'cause I'm like,
who texts
that-
whom? And
This is not finished. It didn't feel
Right.
done.
yeah,
yet.
we knew that something else was going to come from this. We just didn't know what, when, how, and where. And so, so Myrina said to me, "So, I mean, do we text them? I don't want to be the boy. They need to be the boy here." And so then you're like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to text them." And as Myrina often does, took the bull by the horns and decided how she was going to make things happen. Yet another thing I love about her.
So we don't have to do it.
Well,
and we'll mess it up anyway.
right, exactly.
Give us something to figure out. We'll do that part.
Right.
Not
right.
this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So now you don't wait for the next walk to talk and see how it goes. You just say, I'm texting.
I did. Yeah. Yes. And so I texted her and I said, so basically that was really hot. And let's do that again. And so she said, okay. So, and I think we were in a group chat
Mhm.
by then, just to make it easier to set up, dinner dates. And so, so we said, okay. And by the time we could put something on the schedule, it was like a month or so out again. So, but as luck would have it, about 2 days later, she had to come down to the house to pick up a house key that she had left at our house. And so she came down and we were chatting a little bit. And I said, okay, look, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. So, how does this normally work? What do you guys do? And she said, well, normally what we do. So this is my first key. She says, normally what we do. And I'm like, oh shit. Cause this has happened before. Cause I'm thinking, we're all going to fumble through this. Nope. Normally what they do is they'll get like a hotel and everybody shares the hotel room together. And sometimes they go to eat beforehand, and sometimes they'll just take food with them, and it's like a little picnic. And what do we normally do? She asked me, and I said, well, it sounds like we do the same. So then she says to me, well, do you have any rules? And I said, well, what are your rules?
Good counter. Good counter on the riff.
Oh, yep. And
right?
She said, well, first of all, we always play in the same room. And I said, oh, us too. Always. If we're playing, it's the same room. And then she said, and we never take one for the team. And I said, oh, us either.
And meanwhile, write notes. Okay. One. You got Tristan writing the fucking note. Oh, he's at work?
He's at work.
Well, you got a pen and paper
this
then.
Is me. No. And so
I'm
I'm thinking of all this stuff. So anything that she said, I just basically said, oh, us too. Really I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't know what taking one for the team meant. I didn't know what
does taking one for
I'm
the
going to
team?
tell you.
Okay.
But I didn't know.
I know what it is in like, man-to-man world.
Yeah.
Like you take the fat one this time, I'll take the fat one next time.
That probably is very
It's
close.
pretty close.
I guess that's bullying.
It's pretty, well, it's pretty close to it.
Get on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
But so anything that she said, I just basically agreed to. And she left. And I texted Tristan immediately and was like, holy shit, they are swingers. She said all this shit that I don't know what it means. And I just agreed to all of it. So we have some work to do to figure out what the fuck's going to happen here in about 3 weeks, because we have a date with these people and they're expecting to have sex with us. And all these things that they just said that I just said we would or wouldn't do, I don't know what they are. So we have to figure this out.
And now I imagine that you have a Kool-Aid smile at this point.
Kind of like I do right now.
Yeah.
Or 5. So that if he didn't know about those podcast things, he wouldn't be distracted all day at work trying to listen to about other people.
Well, thank you for being so thoughtful.
So caring. So I message him. I'm like, oh my God, there's these things, whatever. And he says,
yeah, I know. I've been listening to them for like 2 years. But actually, I actually had stopped listening, and maybe it had been 3 years prior I started listening to them, and then maybe I think about a year from this time period I stopped listening because I realized I was pulling out of the parking garage at my work, and on came one of these podcasts that I've been listening to, and I thought, what the fuck am I listening to this for? This is never going to happen for me. I'm never going to have this kind of awesome lifestyle, so why am I torturing myself? So I just stopped listening altogether.
They were aware that this was a brand new thing for us, and so I said, well, what do you like? Now we're starting the conversation. And they started telling us about all this kinky